Aloha, my friends. I'm a 13 sign sidereal astrologer, which means that I follow the astrological system that is based on the stars, the actual location of the stars in the sky. Did you know that Western astrology is based on where the stars were 2,000 years ago and is no longer actually accurate to the actual stars up in the sky? And so in Western astrology, whatever sign you think you are, right? It's actually, if you want to see, what constellation was your sun sign on the day of your birth, Western astrology is going to be about 24 degrees ahead of where the sun actually was. So that means that your sign may be different than what you have thought it was. A lot of people that changes, and that can be a little bit strange, a little bit difficult to process, but it's also a really powerful tool to get more dialed into our frequency, to get more dialed into who we are. And go into an astrological chart. We can talk about what's happening astrologically in the sky. We could also look at your chart and we can tune into you. I love assisting people to align to the most pure vibrational expression of themselves, to assist you in aligning back to your soul print, back to your star print, back to, the moment you were born. We look at your star map and we see where the planets were at that precise moment. What constellation were they all in at the moment you were born? And then we tune into you and we can look at certain things in the chart, such as your soul planet. Have you ever heard of a soul planet? We know about the sun sign. That's related to our soul mission and our soul purpose. Have you heard about the soul planet? And everyone has a soul planet, and it determines and defines and expresses and reveals so much of who you are in this lifetime. And so by discerning what your soul planet is, we really can learn so much about you, so much about who you are, right? So if anyone wants to jump on here and go live with me, you're welcome to. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going. So how is everyone doing out there? How are the energetics that you've been feeling, and what is happening astrologically? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to share screen for a moment, and we're going to look at an astrological map. Now, I just finished teaching my second masterclass all about astrology and how to do astrological readings. And it was so successful that one of my students is already including her astrology work with her healing work and then having amazing results. She's been writing me saying, oh my God, it's on fire. The breakthroughs people are having, the clarity people are having, it's incredible. And so I'm thinking that the next course that I'm going to create for October, November is going to be all about how to utilize the astrological chart, 13 sign astrological chart, for healing, right? How do we pinpoint issues that we have? How do we heal ourselves, right? What does it take? What is our purpose, and how do we heal? It's going to be really the huge focus for that 6-week masterclass. So go ahead and message me if you're interested in joining me. But for tonight, I'm going to bring up an astrological chart. I haven't done this in a while because most of the time when people see an astrological chart, they get a little scared because it's a little bit like seeing a map in a foreign language. And it's like, oh my God, what is all of that stuff? I don't know if I have, it's way past what I'm capable of learning. But that's not true. I actually learned how to read an astrological chart when I was about 16 years old. Well, actually 10, but I didn't start doing astrology readings till I was about 16. And if I can do it as a 16-year-old, I know that you can do it, okay? So I'm going to share the screen, and we are going to look into tonight's astrological chart. We're going to see what's happening in the stars right now, today. And so I'm going to go to, this is Prometheus software. It's an astrological software that when I discovered that Western astrology did not include the actual size of the constellations. Now, this is very interesting. In Western astrology, they say that every sign is 30 days long, right? It takes the sun 30 days to move through each constellation. However, that's just not true. It actually takes different amounts of time for the sun to move through each constellation. And so here we have astrological chart, along the outside border here, you'll see the sign. So here's Aquarius. So for today, at this moment in time, Aquarius is at the eastern horizon line. And then we have Capricorn and Sagittarius. And then we have Ophiuchus up here, up at the midheaven. And this is all based on where I'm located. I'm in California, USA. And so this chart is based on that location. An astrological chart is based on the time, the location, and the date and the year of where we were born, or whatever the issue or subject is that we're looking into and we're curious to know more about. Okay. So tonight, I thought I would give you a mini lesson about how to read a chart, because I know it can be so overwhelming and a lot of people really have no clue what any of this means. And I usually don't share it, but tonight I thought, why don't I bring out an astrological chart to really explain to you, what are you even seeing right now? And actually reveal to you just how easy it is to start to learn how to read these things, because they're kind of galactic, right? They're like kind of galactic star maps. Okay. What are we looking at here? Okay. So go ahead and join me in imagining and remembering that this is simply a picture of the sky right now. It's a picture of where the planets are. What constellations are these planets in right now? And to explain that a little more deeply, what you do to understand this is go ahead and look at this line that runs through the center of the chart. Okay. Now, everything above this line, everything above it is what's up in the sky right now. And everything that's below the horizon line, this middle line here, are all the planets that are sort of hidden below the earth at this moment in time. So what that means is that all the planets that are up in the sky are going to be more like our external self. This is how we're going to feel more like interacting with the world. We have Ophiuchus up there. So we might feel this kind of deep, mysterious energy. Ophiuchus is the 13th sign. So if we're in California, this is going to really apply to you. You might feel more deep and mysterious when it comes to presenting yourself to the world. In fact, you might want to stay hidden, right? So here I am offering everyone to go live, and you might really feel like staying hidden. I'm kind of a rebel when it comes to exposing myself, sharing myself with the public. I love to share my voice and to share my truth and to share my message. It gives me so much joy to be up here and communicating with all of you. And I highly encourage you all to try it, to do that, right? There's always something as souls we have to share. And sometimes it's really special. It's really beautiful when we get up here and we actually get out there and we share our message. So I really want to encourage you. I know you're all sitting, you have messages, you have things you want to be sharing. Do it. Get out there, share what's on your heart, share what's on your soul, because every time we share something within us and we're courageous and we're vulnerable enough to step out there, it can deeply affect and encourage and support others around us. Okay. All right. So getting back to our lesson, the top of the chart means external. The bottom of the chart means more internal. So if I'm coming to do an astrological reading for you, and I look at your chart and I see, wow, you have all these planets above, that means you're going to be a more external person with a bigger mission out into the world. Now, if more of your planets when you were born are under the horizon line, that means that you're going to be more internal. You're going to be someone who is more inner focused, more focused on family and friends and your community and the neighborhood. Your mission may not be so big out into the world. It may be more closer to home. Okay. And that's a really powerful thing to know as we're going through our life. Hey, is my focus more go out there, make a big shift in the world, or is it more close to home? Because then we don't waste time. If we're someone who has a huge mission, not doing it, or if we have a more closer to home mission, focusing on that and feeling like, oh, I'm not doing enough. It really gives us permission to stay in the energetic alignment of who we are. And I think permission slips to be who we are some of the most important, powerful things that we could ever receive or have, right? Acknowledgement, permission, acceptance, really allowing ourselves to be who we are. And the astrological chart especially this 13 sign astrological chart, is based exactly on you, where the stars were, what sign those planets were in at the moment of your birth, exactly based on the actual size of the constellations. Look how big Virgo is. It takes 47 days for the sun to move through the constellation of Virgo. It takes about 7 days for it to move through the constellation of Ophiuchus, the 13th sign. It takes about 41 days for the sun to move through Pisces. And so because of this, it can drastically shift what sign all of your planets are in if you're used to following a Western chart that is based on where the stars were 2,000 years ago, because Western astrologers did not factor in precession, which is the slight movement of the constellation over time. So this is the most accurate system I've found. It is not the be-all, end-all. Our source, our center is the most important thing. We truly have the power within us to change things and to shift things. We're not a victim to our astrology charts. We are empowered to utilize it as the gift and blessing that it is. And so as we go forwards in life, how important is it for us to keep remembering the power that we are, and then utilizing the astrological chart as a tool, right? Using it as a tool. And so I really love, there's this quote I found recently, and I just thought it was so good that I had to share it with you all tonight. Because most of us are out there working on our finances, working on creating money, we're working on creating success, right, in our lives. And we're wondering, well, how or why would astrology be important or useful for me? And so I just wanted to share with you all this image here, this quote by J.P. Morgan. Millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do, okay? And so for thousands of years, astrology has been used by the higher echelon for the royalty and the elite to document and to map their choices. Should I do this now? Is it a good time to schedule this? Now, it's always changing, it's always shifting, but when you have awareness of where the planets are, it gives us a lot of leverage and it gives us a lot of power, right? So let's look back at tonight's chart and let's talk about what's going on, because as you can see, there is a lot. So I like to start with the sun, because wherever the sun is the soul, it's the center. It means a lot for what we're going through. Now the sun is in Leo at this time, and it's in the last degrees of Leo. September 14th, Leo, the sun in Leo is going to move to Virgo. And so sun in Leo is really all about shining, and it's about expression. It's about the royalty. It's about the rulers of the land, right? And so with the sun in Leo, we've been exploring our power. We've been exploring our divinity. We've been exploring being leaders in our lives, claiming sovereignty, right? Stepping up to the throne of our lives, claiming the crown, stepping onto the crown of our life. And so anywhere where we haven't been claiming that sovereignty, we haven't been having courage, we haven't been showing our power, has been being brought up for us to look at and to assess and to review. Now with the sun, and that can also be shedding a lot of light on the leaders of the land, those that are in power, those that wear the throne, those that wear the crown, and those that sit on the throne. A lot of light, because the sun is light, its illumination has been shining on those that are in power. And we've been dealing with this very interesting dance between the sun and Saturn. You can see they're like almost directly across from each other. Now the sun is about how we shine and we illuminate life, and it's often sometimes related to children and their joyfulness and how they express themselves, and they're just so at ease being who they are, right? Shining the light of their truth. And the sun right now, for the last several months, has been opposing, it's been almost opposite Saturn. Now it's pretty much past its exact opposition to Saturn. It's moving away from Saturn now. So it hasn't been so intense recently, but over the last month or so, the sun and Saturn were directly in polarity, and Saturn is the opposite of the sun. Where the sun is bright and shining and life-filled, Saturn is intensely structural and disciplined and reserved and aloof and cold, right? It's all about the cold, hard logic, the cold, hard structure of reality and of life. And so with Saturn opposing the sun, we've been having this challenge between just joyfully expressing our soul energy, our light energy, and Saturn feeling restricted from doing that, feeling like there's important, serious things that are causing our ability to just shine like the sun and be happy like children. It's been causing a restriction. And so it's challenging because the summer months, right? August is usually a month for joy and summer and joyfulness and play and summer camp, right? And so with Saturn opposing the sun, it's introduced this element of the stern disciplinarian rules and structure and karma into that joyful time of the year. And so, yeah, this has been a difficult month for lightheartedness. Luckily, the sun is moving away from Saturn, getting farther away. So that has been helping. But now it's moving into Virgo, and it will be in Virgo on September 14th. And Virgo is all about details. It's all about earth, where Leo is fire, Virgo is earth. And so we are literally shifting now on the 14th, and it's a new moon. So it's a really good time to start getting in touch with your intention and what you want to create over the next 2 weeks to the full moon, which will also be in September, right? It's a really good time to start getting in touch with your intention. What is it you want to create, right? What is your vision? And with the sun moving into Virgo, Virgo is all about details. It's all about health, fitness. It's all about cleanliness and purity. It's very different from Leo, where Leo is this fiery, strong, courageous lion that rules the heart. Virgo is an earth, mutable. It's very mutable, very humble, very service-oriented, wanting to be of service energy, right? Where Leo is so focused on myself and I'm shining. Virgo is focused on I serve, I give, right? I am of service to those that need my care. Virgo is associated with the doctors, with nurses, right? With health, with healing. And with so much fear around health right now, and the sun beginning to shine its light onto Virgo, there may well have a lot of illumination around health, around healthcare, around wellness. It's an excellent time to get a scheduler because Virgo is all about schedules. It's all about the details. It's all about organization. It's all about grounding ourselves into the earth reality, right? Which is that there is time, there is location, there is the earth plane, right? Virgo is also associated with the celebration of the harvest, and we are approaching the equinox on September 21st, right? And so that is the time of equal light, equal dark, the sun being at equal placement there. Whew. And it's a beautiful marker. We're shifting away from the hot summery months. Of course, in California, we have our Indian summer to look forward to, but we are shifting with the sun rays towards the autumn, and we're feeling it. It's like, to me, it feels like the dials clicking and the dial of the sun clicking towards the darker time. And that can be an interesting time because now we're not headed towards summer, we're heading away from summer. And if you compare the cycles of the year with the cycles of the moon, there's a lot of similarities with summer coming towards autumn, with the full moon going towards the new moon, right? It's the release of the moon. Instead of it, waxing, it's waning, right? So there is an energetic shift that's happening where maybe we have less energy than we did at the full throttle sun time. Maybe we need more rest. Maybe we need to really pause and take care of our self-care. Make sure we're hydrated. Make sure we're getting enough rest. Do we have enough warm clothes, right? Do we have socks and boots and shoes and jackets? And do we have the right food? Maybe the way that we're eating needs to change because the weather is changing. And there's such a dynamic relationship between our bodies, right? And the weather, right? And what's happening in the world. And so as the cycles and the seasons of the earth shift and change, right? It becomes a really good time to check in with ourselves, right? And that's one reason also that I do this 13 sign system, is because it aligns more deeply to the natural rhythms of the earth. And I had a question recently about the 13 moons and how, you know, there's like 12 moons a year and how that all relates. And the Native American people always have had 13 moons. And they count the moon cycles not just by the cycles of the moon, but by the seasons. And so they basically, in their cosmology, have 13 cycles of the year. And each cycle they call a moon. And they compare this to how the turtle has 13 humps on its back, right? And that there's 28 days around those 13 humps, 28 humps around those 13 humps, which can relate to the feminine moon cycle. And so that is why I've chosen to follow that there are 13 signs, including that 13th sign Ophiuchus, because to me, it feels like it resonates really deeply with the energetics of the feminine, bringing the feminine back to our world, right? You think about 12 makes sense, it's logical, it's easier to do the math, but 13 adds a certain magic, a certain mysticism, a certain joyfulness, beauty, certain gift to all of us, okay? And I think a lot of us are looking for that divine feminine mysticism that Ophiuchus, the sacred 13th sign, represents. And if you haven't heard of Ophiuchus before, Ophiuchus was discovered about 6 years ago by NASA. NASA released it, that there is a 13th sign located between Scorpio and Sagittarius up in the sky, and that it is a powerful sign. When I've done a lot of research on it, I've heard it called the snake tamer. It means the snake tamer. And it relates to this mysticism and sacred knowledge that we hold within us, many of us hold within us, that allows us to be the true wisdom keepers that we are. I often call Ophiuchus the gatekeeper or the guardian of the galactic center, because there's something called the galactic center up here in our galaxy that Ophiuchus literally is the last sign before we go through to the galactic center. And the galactic center is a location where there's a lot of black holes, a lot of void energy, a lot of darkness, mysticism. And they say that from the void, everything comes. And so I think of Ophiuchus energy, or people who carry a lot of Ophiuchus energy, as being able to carry forth the deep secrets of manifestation, the deep ancient ritual magic that we've been taught for thousands of years in mystery schools about connecting to the one source energy, and then from this energy being able to create and manifest anything that we wish to call forth to bring through. Powerful energy. If you haven't had your 13 sign chart done, if you don't know where you have Ophiuchus in your chart, or if you were born between December 7th and December 18th, you might want to investigate this, because you were born during the time when the sun was in Ophiuchus, and Ophiuchus is a powerful sign. It's powerful. Just research it and see what comes up for you, because you might have an awakening. I had a client who discovered that her destiny point was in Ophiuchus, and she literally started crying the moment I told her that information. She didn't even know what it was about. It just hit some kind of cosmic nerve within her, and she just started crying, had a huge awakening, a huge remembering, and it was a huge healing for her soul. And that's why I do this work. I get up here, I go live, because I have so many clients who have these profound awakenings and experiences that connect them deeper to their soul, their wisdom, and their magic. And then they're able to be more empowered, to trust themselves more, and to take actions in their lives and on their mission and be here for what they're here for. And so that is truly why I do what I do. So coming back to the chart right now and how we're about to move from Leo into Virgo. And I just wanted to share this quote with you all. So powerful, I found, from Sri Yukteswar Giri. And Sri Yukteswar is one of the prime teachers for Paramahansa Yogananda, who wrote the incredible book, Biography of a Yogi. And he says, a child is born on that day and at that hour when the celestial rays are in mathematical harmony with his individual karma. Okay, and so a sidereal astrology chart, a 13 sign chart, is truly a snapshot of who you are at the moment that you're brought onto this earth. It's a snapshot of your individual karmic energy, your identity for this lifetime. What are your soul challenges? What are your soul gifts? Your soul purpose? And that is why I do these readings, because I'm truly interested in assisting you to connect to your soul, to your essence, to who you are. And it's so powerful every single session to feel this switch happen from us. We're born and we're totally connected. We're totally tuned into who we are. And then we go through this world, right, with so many challenges and people who maybe don't necessarily get or recognize who we truly are at the core soul level. And it can be so rewarding to have an hour with the 13 sign astrologer where they assist you to kind of just look at your chart and see, oh, wow, this is where the planets were at that moment that I chose as a soul to come through. It's really, really powerful. Right? So coming back to the fact that we're leaving behind Leo, we just passed through Leo. We've had such a powerful time. I don't know about you, but we had so many powerful things happen with the Leo energy. We had the heart of the lion. Venus got conjunct the heart of the lion. It's called Cassimi, when Venus and the sun come together. It's so powerful. I remember that day. It was just like super powerful in it. And then we had Regulus and the sun come together. So there's been this really powerful Leo energy. And then with Saturn opposing has created this dichotomy, I feel, of us really starting to desire some deep foundational and structural shifts in the leadership of our planet. Have you been feeling that? Like something has to change on like a deep structural level, like not just on a superficial level, but Saturn is structure. Saturn is discipline. And it is an Aquarius. And Aquarius is all about the collective and the community and the electrical quantum field of our connected beingnesses and how we're all connected. So what is the good? What kind of structure can we build Saturn to be for the good of all beings? And then it's been opposite the sun for months, shining the light on leadership. So how can the leaders of our planet finally step up through some discipline and some hard work into aligning with how to support the people in the best way possible, how to create those structures that will actually serve the needs of the many, to stop being selfish, which is sometimes the Leo challenge, and be more focused on the collective, right? And on serving the needs of the many. So I've gone a lot longer than I thought I was going to be going tonight. If anyone is out there watching and you would like to just hop on with me and ask any questions, I left the link in the description for joining me. So if you want to hop onto the Zoom with me, you're welcome to ask any questions. And I'm also going to lead us on a healing, because the collective energies just continue to be incredibly dense and incredibly is we have 7 planets retrograde. We have 7 planets retrograde. We have Mercury retrograde. We have Saturn. So Mercury retrograde, communication. Saturn retrograde, discipline, structure, business, government, in the sign of technology. So technology, government, business, structure, discipline, karma. We have Uranus retrograde, the electrical systems, right? We have electricity retrograde. We have so many things retrograde. We have, and welcome, Maddie. We have Neptune, the planet of dreams, the planet of intuition, the planet of inspiration retrograde. We have so many things retrograde. We have Pluto, the god of the underworld, retrograde. Seven planets. Holy cow. I know it's that same way. It's just like, how, like, what do we do? The image that's been coming to mind is that we're literally kind of being forced to deal with stuff. Like, we're trying to move forwards. And it's like, if it's not the right direction, it just won't move. It just won't move. Like, usually it's like, oh, there's kind of like some flow. We kind of get some action. But right now with 7 planets retrograde, have you been noticing? It's like, it has to change. Like, stuff has to change. The stuff that hasn't been changed, it has to change. And so really it's a blessing in disguise. And so if you're going through a difficult time, I know I've been like today, I woke up and last week that Mercury retrograde got me because I completely, like, my phone won't turn on, right? It's done. So I had to get a new phone, right? And I was just laughing. I was like, here I am doing 13 sign astrology, and my phone, which is the ultimate communication device in Mercury, is gone. It's just done. And I just was laughing at myself. And today I woke up and I was like, oh, my phone is gone. I just was like having this moment of overload. Thank God for all of the energy tools, Maddie, that we've been focusing on over the last week. Maddie and I just completed this incredible 5-day energy challenge that Michael Grady led, which was amazing, off the wall, incredible. If you're interested in learning a do-it-yourself method that allows you to bridge the spiritual to the material and clear deep stuff really fast, I'll leave the link in this description for the 5-day energy challenge we just completed, because there's so much information. It's crazy. Like, he taught us everything, and it was powerful. Okay, so I'll leave the link below. Maddie's looking great. I think she's feeling better. We had some amazing breakthroughs happen today, so that's awesome. Maddie, go ahead and unmute. How are you doing out there? I know this is an interesting conversation about astrology and healing, and you just jumped on, but yeah, I'd love to hear from you and how you're doing.
Hi. I was on the Facebook and then I came over to the Zoom, but yeah, after the last couple of days going through kind of the nitty gritty, like you're saying, like what was working before won't be working anymore. And the energy clearing just came at the perfect time to kind of blast through those walls. But I'm curious if you can, maybe I can scroll, see it over here. I'm curious, like, where I didn't look in depth at the current chart of what's happening. But I'd be curious to see, like, a side by side, I think in Western, I don't know where Venus is in either, but Venus
where
and
they
like
are.
yeah, Venus, and what is Mercury retrograding through in 13 signs?
Yeah, let's do this. Let's go. This is great. As a teacher, I've noticed that it really helps to have someone to ask me questions.
Yeah,
because there's so much, right? This is a pretty in-depth study, astrology, right? There's a lot here. So having you be on here with me and ask these questions, which I'm sure everyone's having, I'm so grateful. Thanks for jumping on. So let's take a look at it.
Can you turn off some of the asteroids? There's so many.
Yeah, I know it's a lot, but it would be a lot more for me to turn them off. So
Okay.
So just bear with me. You got it. We can do it. Just we'll go through. I'll guide you. Just hold on tight. Okay. So first thing we're going to look at is we're going to travel over to where Mercury is. And I want everyone to know that depending on where you're located on the planet right now is going to change where those signs are, right? Do you see this outer band? Right?
Yes.
This outer band changes based on location and based on time. Okay. So that said, where is Mercury retrograde right now? And as you can see, you know, if you didn't do this, you'd be like, "Ah, I can't even find it. This is overwhelming." But we're going to go right down to Mercury. And the sun just passed over Mercury. So Mercury is 26 degrees of Leo right now. And we literally just had what is called Sun Cassini Mercury, which happened 2 days ago, which means in the heart of the sun. What does that mean? It's very fortuitous. It's a highly beneficial energy when the sun is just directly shining on that Mercury. And it can completely take away the malefics of a Mercury retrograde for a day. It's kind of like a get out of jail free card for a day. It's kind of like, oh, you can communicate, you can, you know, pay all those past bills that you were meaning to get, like stuff can happen. And now it has moved. So now the sun is about 5 degrees away from Mercury. It's still close to it. It's still shining its light, illuminating Leo or Mercury, but it's farther away. And it's very interesting because sun in Leo, sun rules Leo. So having the sun in Leo right next to Mercury in Leo is a really strong energy. I often equate Leo with the rulership of the land. Who is in power? Who is sitting on the throne? Whether, well, let's not debate why or how they got there, but who is sitting there, right? Who are the people up on those thrones of our Earth system that we're on? And also, where are we sitting on the throne of our own lives? It's really calling us up to that spiritual, am I claiming my power energy? And with Mercury being retrograde, now it calls in not only that energy, but that energy from the past, because it's retrograde, which means everything from the past related to communication and leadership. So let's say that we haven't been standing in our power and communicating as the leaders that we are born here to be. If we are, right? Some of us are, and we know it. All that past stuff that's been blocking us from stepping into and communicating that leadership is going to be up on the surface. And the light of the sun will be shining on it. Holy freaking cow. Whoa. Okay. And that's just the sun and Mercury. Now, let's go ahead and travel over to Venus, right? Because so Venus was retrograde for a month and a half, and it was an intense month and a half. Maddie, did you notice this Venus retrograde? Yeah. Oh, you're muted. Unmute.
Yes, definitely did. And I felt that it was even more intense when Venus went like under the horizon line for like those 10 days or something.
Yeah. Oh my God. Right. So in a chart, under the horizon line is shown by everything under this middle line. So when you were born, everything under this middle line was under the horizon line. And so those can be kind of a deeper part of your chart. It's kind of more of the hidden, deeper stuff. And so knowing what's there is super helpful. So Venus has gone direct, yay, but she is in the sign of Cancer. And Cancer, for those of us who follow astrology, Cancer is one of the most emotional, tear-jerking, sentimental, just super in our feels energy. And not only that, but she is exactly conjunct today Juno.
Oh my God.
Juno is the asteroid of marriage. Oh gosh. Talk about heartstrings. What does that mean, Lotus? And it's also conjunct what is called the sun and moon midpoint. The sun and moon midpoint is the point between the sun and the moon. So you could almost say that's one of the most powerful points in our charts for potential marriage partners, right? So if someone really connects to our sun moon midpoint, that's a powerful connection. So we have the polarity of the yin yang, feminine, masculine, with Venus, love, and Juno, the asteroid of marriage in Cancer, home and family. Are you feeling sentimental today? Is your heart, emotion, love, dreaming about home and family? Is it really wanting love and connection and home? right? And if you have Cancer in your birth chart, wherever you have Cancer, that energy is going to be affecting you personally, right? So if you have Cancer rising, it'll be affecting your house of identity. If you have Cancer in the second house, it will be, which means you have, oh gosh,
Gemini rising.
Gemini rising. It means that your career and your finances, your money flow are going to be getting a Venus activation, which is the planet of the billionaire. So Venus in Cancer is emotional. It's deep. It's all about what we love, what we feel. It's the feminine energy. It's like a lot of emotion. It's water. With Juno, what are our dreams and hopes and wishes about marriage? Right? If we're feminine, especially because Cancer is the mom, what is the collective feminine mother energy yearning for around marriage and partnership? Is it being fulfilled? Or are we feeling a gap or a lag between what we desire heart-wise and our family relationships that we're in, right? And so this is very deep. Whenever Cancer is involved, I know it's going to be deep. It's going to be emotional. It's going to be profound. And so even though we've jumped out of Venus retrograde, now we have jumped into emotional water. So we went from fiery heart into emotional heart, emotional love, yearning for family, yearning for home and marriage and family, right? And that's a natural thing to yearn for, especially for the divine feminine, when we're the most nurtured, when we have there is a desire for the feminine to be like the pearl and the man to be like the clam and to be held. And I think in our culture, with most of our moms going through the feminist revolution, where I don't need a man and I don't need protection and I don't need to be cared for, where we're kind of swinging back and we're kind of being like, as a feminine being, I'd kind of like to feel protected and safe by my partner. I'd like to have a partner who cares for me, takes care of me, so that I can drop into my feminine and I can express my feminine, right? The masculine, in my opinion, in a partnership is to be the container. And the feminine dances, right? The feminine energy dances and sways. And I worked with a client recently who had this beautiful description she shared with me that she got in meditation of her husband being like a big, like eagle with wide wings, and that she was like this dancing goddess energy, and that he was there holding the space for her to be in that space. And I think with Venus in Cancer, there could be this sentimental, the Cancer is the crab, and it's so soft inside, and yet it has this shell. And so our vulnerability is really up on the surface right now, especially the divine feminine vulnerability. I mean, think about what it takes for women to give birth and the deep need for protection for that. And if you look at it on an energetic level, whether we're giving birth to children or giving birth to creative projects, we're yearning for that deep protection and safety. And then at the same time, the men in our lives or our partners, what have been the role models for the masculines in our lives or our partners, right? What has our world been teaching our men, right? Has it really been up to par in terms of really giving them the guidance, the support, and the training of how to embody their divine masculine? How many men didn't have fathers to teach them?
Mm-hmm.
And so as much as we're feeling this imbalance or pain around wishing for this divine connection and fulfillment and family and emotional goodness that a relationship can bring and marriage can bring, on a deep level, our society has so much pain around this. And we can see here that, that Pluto was just really, wow, there's this whole Pluto thing. The moon is approaching in opposition to Pluto, right? And moon rules Cancer, and Pluto is transformation. It's rebirth, right? And so on an emotional level, our love life is asking us to transform. And I want to say that whatever your relationship is, whatever you're going through, can you take a step back and acknowledge that whatever you're personally involved in is actually like the symptom of the deeper root of imbalance that we've all been dealing with for thousands of years on this earth. Yeah. And have compassion for yourself and for your partner, whoever they may be, for you, for everyone else watching, that we are all dealing with healing something so big.
Like a lot of my grief that I've been hanging around in my body is like literally out. And yeah, I definitely feel a bigger shift, like, questioning like a habit, am I choosing this habit, or do I consciously want to like pass on that for right now? And it just feels so much more empowering, because remember yesterday it was like, oh, I'm so scared to be seen. And
Yeah.
here it's like
I
completely
know.
a whole other world.
I was
So,
like going like, it's amazing that you're here out in the world being seen in all your beautiful, glorious self. So thank you for that. And I'm so grateful for your presence and your time, and spending the last week with you has been amazing. And I'm just super excited for all of the amazing things coming, and for all of us, all the magic. And if people out there, if you're going through something, please message me. This is my life's work. I love doing this work. I love assisting you all to get clear and to release the baggage and to feel happy again. It's my greatest joy and honor. So message me if you would like assistance with this. And Maddie, big hugs, big love, just so much love to you and to the beautiful island that you are. You're on Hawaii, right?
Yeah, big island.
So big love and aloha to Hawaii and to you. And reach out anytime. It's been absolutely awesome to connect with you tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much. We got to get you guys out here and do a retreat here.
That would be awesome. You can go swimming.
Seed planted.
Seed planted. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Everyone have a good night. Big love. Aloha.
Aloha.
Sorry if it's hard to catch my vibe. I need a lover to trust. Tell me you're on my side. Are you up, down for the ride? It's not easy for someone to catch my eye, but I've been waiting for you for my whole damn life, my whole lifetime. Don't be afraid to tell me if you ain't with it. I see you focus, yeah, you're so independent. It's hard for me to open up, I'll admit. You got some shit